On the program today, we assess how well the judiciary has fared under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Did the administration allow the judiciary thrive? We have the views of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Atoyebi, on this and much more. We also have the opinions of some other senior lawyers, plus our weekly recap of the top trending stories from the courtrooms. Hello and welcome to this episode of Law Weekly. I am Shola Sheeli. 19 years of uninterrupted democracy and 3 years already spent by the present administration. How has the judiciary fared? What are some of the major challenges still facing the judiciary, and what are the possible solutions? These questions form the core of my conversation with a senior advocate of Nigeria who is also a pastor. Pastor Femi Atoyebi, as is well known, was called to the Nigerian bar in 1981. He was also called to the Ghanaian bar in 2003 and has practiced law for over 35 years. I began the interview by asking him to assess the judiciary under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
I would personally say that some members of the judiciary have performed well, but quite a lot of them, personally, I wouldn't give them a lot of credit, I'm sorry.
Why?
Because they haven't performed the way I would expect.
What indices are you using to measure this?
You see, when you see lawyers gather in groups, especially senior lawyers, all spectrum of lawyers, all ages, and they're talking in groups, it's expressing deep concern about how our judiciary at large has, if you like, gone down, I'm afraid. And I'm sure quite a lot of them may not like me for what I'm going to say, but unfortunately, that's me. I have no point to prove to anyone. At my age, I don't seek to please anyone. The things we see clearly will demonstrate to us that quite a number of them are not doing well, as one will expect. If you see lawyers in groups talking about the judiciary, it's concerning the many conflicting decisions that they make on the same point. If you're looking, if a client asks you for a legal opinion, and all of us agree on this, you cannot give any lawyer, any client, a legal opinion to say, on this set of fact, this is the way Nigerian court will rule. It's not possible. Because if I say A, another lawyer will say B, another lawyer will say C. And as many people as you ask will have different opinions, and guess what? They all have what we call case law to back their opinions up. So it's quite ridiculous if we find that kind of thing going on, and it's going on.
But why do you think this is happening?
First of all, let me say this. It's not all the judges that are corrupt. No. We still have quite a number who are sane, who are content with whatever they have. Some of them have good jobs or businesses before they chose to go to the bench for the honor, and are maintaining that honor. But there are quite a number of them actually who evidently went in for what they can get. And what they can get is what is beclouding a lot of their decisions, unfortunately.
When you say that lawyers gather to discuss these issues of corruption and graft in the system, I'm concerned about why lawyers don't name and shame and call out the bad ones amongst them.
I agree with you, absolutely. And so shamefully, even some members of the senior lawyers do this. We know them, unfortunately. And some of them will even have the gut to come on record as condemning the act when they are the real people behind it. We know them. It's a shame. We know it does happen. It does happen, but I can only speak for myself. But there are quite a number of well-behaved, disciplined lawyers, both in the inner and outer bar, who will not involve or get involved in such dealings. But yes, you're right. We lawyers largely were equally culpable.
Why don't we have a situation where lawyers name and shame?
The truth is, the expression name and shame is what I love most and I do most. but it's so difficult. It is very difficult to prove that. But recently, in pages of newspapers, quite a number of lawyers have been tried or have been tried and convicted for this kind of thing. While it is difficult to prove, especially by those of us who are not law enforcement agencies, that's the reason we can't. If I knew anybody who did it, if I can prove it, because if I say to you, Mr. XYZ took money and gave it to Judge XYZ, it's my word against theirs, in the absence of me finding a hard proof that it took place. But the truth is, there's no smoke without fire. The names of those involved keep on going around in circles, both in the press and amongst lawyers. We may not be able to prove it, because the standard of proof is one of criminal law, which is the proof beyond reasonable doubt. I can't prove that. I'm not sure anybody can prove that. The ones who can, at least I'm aware of a dear friend of mine who's also a senior advocate, well respected, who wrote a petition against a particular SAN, who's been tried and found guilty of the charges, and I believe it's been sanctioned accordingly. They've taken away his silk. So it's happening, maybe slow, but like whatever it is in the world that's not going right, people are speaking out, people are taking actions, and if I personally know of anyone, if I can prove it, I would gladly say it against a judge or against my fellow lawyer.